Good afternoon to everyone. Is this thing okay? Okay. It's a very tough match. Not many people know Maniema. Unfortunately, we played them before. I think that was in their inception stages. The fact that they've taken out Petro out of the Champions League is already saying they're a very good team. It's a team that is very good on set pieces. A team that probably both goals against Petro were from set pieces. Big striker, number 32, Kitambala, something like that. Hustling and bustling, and they've got very speedy wingers and very technical wingers in Mboma and Mbala, with a potential of number 7, Iswala, something like that. A very creative player that causes a lot of problems. Onoya, unfortunately, suspended. I think they've got the number 6, Lucas or something like that, whom I think is the engine room of the team in the midfield. Then the captain at the back, number 25. And then Simete, the right-footed left centre back. With 2 fullbacks, Lupini, very aggressive, and Mawonda on the left. A very big team physically. No wonder they are strong on set pieces. Very direct sometimes. They also have number 10, who, for me, Iswala and the number 10, Rashid, are the most creative players for the team. And it's a very, very formidable team that we must never take anything for granted. We expect a very tough match. We expect a team that is very physical, a team that will put us under a lot of pressure. We're also hoping they will also press from the top, because they are a very good team. And I'm hopeful that if they sit in, maybe that will help us. It will be a little bit tough if they press us from the top.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think the coach explained all the things what the other team have. I think it's very strong team, physicality, very normal from the African team. You know, tall guys, speed for the what on the outside. So I think it's very tough game, and I think the team is coming. Of course, we lose the final, but I think we change the way, and it's a very important tournament for us. I think it's very special, and starting with a win tomorrow in home, I think is so important.
Thank you, Marcelo. We're now going to open the floor for your questions. If you are directing a question to Marcelo, can I ask that you say it in a very slow manner so that he understands the question and is able to analyze it before your response? Thank you.
Well, maybe we can start with the coach while the guy is coming. Translator. Then we do him last. Maybe he'll get here. I don't know.
I think that would help.
Coach Mngqithi from Times Live. I guess what becomes important now is to sort of put Bloemfontein, into the past and really, focus on restarting the season again with the what happens from tomorrow going forward.
100%. We have a big responsibility. We know this one is our bread and butter, the Champions League. In the championship, we cannot afford to falter in that one. We have a big responsibility to our fans, to our board, to ourselves and our families as well, because it's one tournament that we've always been trying to win, and we have to push very hard to get to that level where we can find the team in the last match of the tournament at least, then see what will happen from there.
Sure, it's fine. Charles, you can go first and then we'll...
Okay.
Bonjour coach. Ma question c'est de savoir déjà en vous suivant, vous montrez une très grande maîtrise de l'équipe de Maniema. Et la question c'est de savoir quelles sont à votre avis les forces et les faiblesses de cette équipe de Maniema que vous semblez très bien maîtriser.
Coach, I've been impressed because you really know Maniema team with you. You did your homework, but I would like to know if what are the weaknesses and the strength of the team in terms of strategy and the technique.
Maniema.
Yes, Maniema.
Oh, I would mention more their strengths, because I think, like I said, they are very strong on set pieces. They are very strong on the wing play with those wingers. Biala, there's also Mola, number 21, who plays on the left but is right-footed. Mboma, I think, is your trump card. It's one of your most important players. Very quick, dynamic. I'm not sure whether he's a good dribbler, but I think when there is space behind, he's very dangerous. Biswala, number 7, very creative, causes a lot of problems. Good passes, full range of passes, can switch play, can shoot from range. Rashidi can also do the same, good ball carrier as well. The centre backs mainly try to play the ball to the striker or to find the opposite winger, because they play with a lot of wing play and wingers that are expected to exploit the space behind you. Very tall team, very big team, and obviously in that area alone there is potential weaknesses. But the strengths obviously will be on set pieces.
Comme je viens de le dire, la force c'est surtout dans les balles arrêtées. Il y a plusieurs joueurs que j'ai cités qui sont très bons. Je ne veux pas parler de la faiblesse de l'équipe de Maniema. Je propose plus parler de la force de Maniema, leur force physique, et certains joueurs que j'ai cités qui sont extrêmement bons, et on essaiera de les contrer. Je ne parlerai pas de la faiblesse de cette équipe.
Coach, Kamukholo from Soccer Leduma. There's been a lot made about the way the style of play introduced into Sundowns this season, the balls into 6 and the big switches diagonally in behind. Is this the competition where we perhaps see that kind of way of playing coming to the fore the most? I know you said you don't want them pressing really, but perhaps maybe that this is the best way for your tactics to shine through.
I think it's the way of play that we have adopted, not merely for the Champions League, but to try and improve our chance creation, because we've been playing well, but we've not been creating a lot of chances, and we have a bigger responsibility, because look at the game we played over the weekend, where we had 20 shots at goals, but we only scored 1 goal. The opposition only had 3 and they scored 2. So it's our responsibility to try to maximize on the number of chances first before we go deeper into trying to be a little bit more clinical in terminating our attacks. But I think the team is responding well in that regard. It's just that we were unlucky in the previous match. I think we still created enough to win the match. Maybe some decisions in the final third were not very good. To a certain extent, I think the 100,000 runs also caused problems in the team. But let me leave it there.
Coach Tsapang from Sokaraduma as well. Have you found that on a mental side you've had to work a lot to get the players focused for tomorrow's game, or is it because it's Sundowns, the big team, players have that ability to bounce back immediately from setbacks like the one on Saturday?
You'll never really know whether you've managed to get their minds where you want them to be. But from what I've seen, I think the team is back. I think everybody is aware of the challenges that we've been through, more especially with our internationals, because I think that was also a big factor in the game that we played over the weekend, because we couldn't change the team that we know can make us win the match, but at the back of our minds we also knew we had a lot of players that had played 290s in a short space of time, and that had an effect in the latter stages of the game, which is why we also had to make some changes. But I think the team is looking good. The only thing that might be important is to make sure that the team is fresh, because we can't make any legitimate excuse. We have to try to win matches and not make excuses.
Mark Stradon was the song. Does it matter? Mark Stradon, Tom's about it as well. Coach, just the last 2 seasons, semi-finals, won the AFL, but semi-finals in Champions League. If you look at your combination, do you think that little bit that was missing, because it was so close in both those semis, do you think you've got a slightly stronger combination for this year's Champions League? And obviously for you, it's nothing new to you. You've been here since before 2016, I think, even the unsuccessful season before that, as part of the coaching structure, so you know Champions League very well. So do you think you've got what it takes to go that step further? There's been no final since 2016. And if I can ask a second one, going back to Bloem, I know you want to put in your past. Is there a little bit of personal regret, because a trophy could definitely have helped you solidify your position as the head coach, which you're doing for the first time? I know you've been part of the co-coaching structures and you've won trophies in that, but yeah. Thanks.
First, I think the team we have is stronger and is capable of winning the Champions League. We just have to believe now, and hopefully fixtures will not cause problems for us, because I strongly believe we have tried to do our level best to keep the team as fresh as possible up until this stage. And I think beyond the match that we are going to play tomorrow, we should be having maybe better periodization in terms of the freshness of the team. But in terms of personality, I think we've got what it takes to compete and win the Champions League this year. And that has been probably my primary target from the beginning of the season, because I know we are capable of winning anything else. It's important to try and push for the Champions League, and I strongly believe we've got what it takes to win the Champions League. And as for the second question, I think we played very well in Bloemfontein, which is unfortunate. I don't have to solidify anything, because that one is not up to me. I can only control what is in front of me, but what is not in my control, I will always allow God to play his part. So I'm just happy with what I'm seeing in the group. I think the team is playing the way I want to play, but I was just unhappy that we were not as clinical as I would have loved, because it is a sad story that a team that scores 12 goals in a competition of 4 matches ends up not winning that competition. It's very sad, because that return in terms of the number of goals we scored is a very good return.
Good afternoon, Coach. Morning, Tim Kulu here from Teta FM. Coach, looking at your squad, you have a very big squad. Will we be seeing more of squad rotation in the game that we'll be playing tomorrow?
You can never be sure about that one. It will depend on what we see from everything that we have to look at and all the metrics, and make decisions based on what we feel objectively will make sense to us. But If we happen to make rotations, it would mean it's what we felt is necessary. But if we feel we can go with the same group, because we believe that group is good enough to win any match, we can go with the same group. But it will just depend on what we see physiologically more than anything else, not in terms of quality. But physiologically, I think that is where the decisions will have to be taken. Thank you very much.
Okay. If there are no further questions for the player or the coach, then do you have? Yes, you can go ahead.
The translator is here.
Okay.
No, you can substitute me.
No. He can just come sit here, and then you'll give him the mic when you are done asking the question.
He will first apologize for doing that.
Marcelo, Kamukolo from Soccer Laduma. I wanted to ask, this is your second time playing in the Champions League. What did you notice in the first time? What experience did you gain the first time that you are now bringing into the competition this time?
Bueno, la tercera, le corrijo ahí, que es la tercera vez que juego el torneo este de la Champions. Creo que es un torneo muy físico. Creo que las dos temporadas anteriores fueron muy similares y creo que la tercera obviamente va a ser igual. Así que nada, se espera obviamente ser protagonista. Creo que tenemos el equipo suficiente como para ser campeón y creo que desde ese punto de vista en nuestro equipo siempre va a ser la prioridad de ser campeones.
Well, apologies for being late. His point of correction is that this is the third season for him in the Champions League. He knows that the Champions League is a very competitive league, also more physical than other of the competitions that he's actually playing in. When it comes to the preparation and the state of readiness, he thinks the team is capable of competing and actually winning. So also from his personal level, it would be just to get into the right gear to prepare and actually participate. But from the state of readiness and willing to compete, it's compete to win.
Marcelo, it's a bump from Sokoladum as well. I mean, you mentioned that this is your third time. In the two times that you've played in, why do you think Sundowns have not been able to go all the way in the competition? And the second question is, after what happened on Saturday, what was the feeling amongst the players and how important is it now to sort of get something and do well in this competition?
Bueno, en cuanto a la primera pregunta, creo que estuvimos muy cerca en ambas semifinales. Creo que el gol de visita nos pesó bastante. Bueno, en este caso, donde fue la primera semifinal con Guida, que nos convirtieron 2 goles, creo que eso fue la parte que nos dejó fuera. También pasó lo mismo en el año pasado con Esperanza, que me hicieron un gol, el cual obviamente no lo esperábamos, y obviamente en eso tendremos que poner un enfoque. En cuanto a la segunda, sí, como lo dijo el técnico, creo que tenemos una responsabilidad con el club, con Sundowns, con nuestro hincha, nuestro aficionado, de levantar este traspié que tuvimos. Y nada, que es un club muy grande en el cual siempre en cada torneo tenemos que pelear y ser campeones. Así que nada, esperamos ganar, esperamos obtener los 3 puntos en casa, que van a ser muy importantes.
The first question, for the past 2 seasons, we were eliminated in the semi-finals simply because maybe both situations were more on losing with the away goal rule. With that, we considered 2 goals, which was actually a huge thing on us to be eliminated on semi-final. And also last season as well, it was also a situation of an away goal rule, but we understand the dynamics of this. The more goals you scored, the better you become actually to put a step into the finals. So, like the coach said on the second question now is to get ready, bounce back, because Sundowns is a big club. We're a big club, professionals, players and technical team, and also offense have to understand to back us up. We need them, so we need to bounce back. We failed. We couldn't actually win the final, but our objective still remains the same: is to win everything. So, but we're gonna bounce back and come back strong.
Do you have any other questions? I'll take the last question from
Coach, like Mngqithi says, I've been away. I was trying to whisper to him, have you been asked about your meeting with Bruce? But I don't know if you can disclose how that went. And if it's repetitive, please forgive me, but I don't know if that's actually come out to you, how that went for you.
The meeting was very good. We understand each other quite better now, because we are both very useful for the national team, let me put it like that. So, and I even understood when he used most of our players in the games that he played, because I just put myself in his shoes, and I think I would have done the same. And I would not expect any team to tell me that you should not play these players because you have already qualified. Because one thing you would not want to do in the national team is to lose matches and not play to the level that you want in your final match of the group, which should take you to the competition with that positive mind and positive energy. To be honest, I never blamed Hugo for using our players, even though we're playing the final, because I thought the mistake was not with Bruce. I will reiterate that I think not only for Sundowns, but for anyone else, it is just suicidal to have a final in the week where we had the FIFA break, because it could have been even more catastrophic if it was not because we're playing at home. Imagine if we were coming from Mauritania or Comoros or Seychelles, how long would it have taken that team to come back? And you end up in situations where there are many instances where flights were cancelled and the team does not come back on time, and now we must postpone the final, and it just boils around that. It's not about Hugo and all that, because change the seats and put me on the other side, I would have played my best players in that match to make sure that I cement my position in the group.
That's where we leave it for today. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you to the media.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, Allende.